would you like to tell the audience why you're blowing
Yeah,
your top? Why I like my fag?
Well, what it was,
Go on,
ladies and
Gaz.
gentlemen, there's a doll that's been out for 10 years, but it's only come to light today with us because obviously a lot of us haven't got little kids, but somebody put it on where Fisher Price have released a doll. It's been around now for 10 years. No wonder the young girls that been abused and raped and everything in Rotherham and Telford and that have probably been the way they are, because this doll, ladies and gentlemen, you can get white dolls, black dolls, and it you know, it makes the noises of a little doll. That's where I think it's called cuddles and hugs or something like that. And when you like press its head, it starts going and all this baby talk. But then 3 verses in, it says Islam is the light. It's plain as day. Islam is the light, and then carries on doing the baby talk again. But they didn't put it right at the beginning. They've put it in the middle. So if you, for instance, if you're a mother and you've got your little 2-3-year-old girl to play with while you go off and do your washing up and stuff like that, you'd never notice. You'd never notice because it's that well hidden within the speech. It's not right at the front. It's absolutely a disgrace. And, you know, I think people should be getting on to Fisher Price and saying, what the hell have you been doing releasing these dolls for? And then pulled up the, went back to when it was released, and I saw, and David Russell had put this thing in the chat where it was telling you the Daily Express, I think it was, plain as day there, but obviously back in the day we was all blind. I was blind to it back in the day. And then, you know, and it was a big article saying that these dolls is out and it's blatantly teaching the young kids to love Islam.
Before going into a discussion about this doll, I have to pick this gentleman up on his disgraceful suggestion that girls in Rotherham were being abused because of these dolls. The intimation here is that the girls had grown up with these dolls and had ultimately been indoctrinated to follow their groomers. No, this is absurd. Gary Clarke is being absolutely absurd. The Rotherham girls were not abused because of these dolls, but rather they were abused because of a group of vile criminals who should all be condemned. Gary Clarke should openly retract and apologise for that mindless statement.
Yes, sadly, this quiet, unassuming building was the scene of a protest that turned pretty ugly. A Shia Muslim organisation wants to turn these offices into a community facility, a place for them to meet and to pray. But a group who came here on Saturday objecting to those plans clashed with others who believe that Islamic prayer should be allowed here.
A police line separated the two sides, preventing those who object to this new place of worship from getting to the front door.
We're building more and more mosques and we're forgetting about the churches. The churches are going downhill and the mosques are coming more and more into it. And obviously we're scared of Islamification.
Now on to the dolls. Snopes.com researched this online rumour. I'm going to lean on their research here. For those unaware, Snopes.com is regarded as an online touchstone of research on rumours and misinformation online. Snopes gives us a synopsis of the origins of this rumour, which began in October 2008 when people thought they heard statements such as Islam is the light and Satan is king. For some reason I doubt Islamophobes are talking about the bit about Satan. They're all way more interested in the part of this rumour which mentions Islam. What these people thought they heard was not what the doll was saying. Battle confirmed the only scripted word the doll says is mama. The rest is simply baby babble, cooing and giggling. Essentially what happened here is The simulated nonsensical babblings of infants was mistaken by adults, certain adults, for English language words. This is actually quite common when it comes to dolls. Perhaps the most stubborn Islamophobes will still refuse to yield these allegations by denouncing Mattel as part of some huge conspiracy. The question for the Islamophobes, well, those who want to at least use a couple of brain cells, would be this: why would a company like Mattel risk losing profits in the American market, which I assume is either their biggest market or one of their biggest markets? Just think about that. Throw aside the conspiracy theories, let's put this down to the power of suggestion. Loonwatch puts it down to the power of suggestion, and this is backed up by a snap experiment conducted by Gastonia Gazette, which featured the doll in question. The Gazette picked 4 people unaware of the controversy around the doll and asked them to describe the sounds coming out of the doll. None of them picked out an Islamic or Muslim message. Here's an explanation on Snopes' website as to why humans can think they hear words and sentences when listening to nonsensical sounds. As to why we misperceive sounds that are nonsensical or words uttered in foreign languages, we humans are pattern-seeking critters. Because we're not geared to handle blasts of random input on the basis of what they are, we instinctively shoehorn the chaos we encounter into forms that are familiar to us. That leads us to see rabbits and sailing ships in clouds, and hear supernatural whisperings in the sounds made by waterfalls and strong winds. It also leads to our picking up disquieting or even frightening messages from audio files embedded in children's toys. Haphazard babblings are heard as strings of actual words, and sentences spoken in other languages are heard as phonetic approximations in our own. We hear what we expect to hear, which is words spoken in our mother language honed into meaningful sentences. Instinctive behavior leads to perfectly innocuous talking dolls being regarded as imparting satanic messages, especially when we've already been exposed to suggestive rumors telling us what we are supposed to be hearing. That's the power of suggestion.